Ollie, nice to see you, my friend. It's good to be able to have a sit-down conversation. Obviously, since you and I knew each other before we were working together, and now you've finally come on board with us. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you came to end up working with Provident?
Where do I start? I think, it's been quite a roller coaster for me. Been in Dubai for just almost 3 years now. Got recruited by an amazing company, 5 hotels and resorts. But obviously from the journey I had with them, where I started first in the hospitality sector, and then from there where they took me under, their wing, and then, developed my skill, which was then going through the whole real estate aspect of the company.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more about that, because coming from a developer's perspective on that sort of side of the coin now to being a broker, which is the other side, how has that transition been, and what skills do you think have been easy to bring over into that as well?
Well, obviously, coming from, like I said, hospitality, where I was doing, entertainment, F&B, and then all of a sudden having to learn a new niche, a new market, everything in such a short period of time. I do have to say I am quite grateful for the people that have actually brought me into this new world. If I'm speaking about these people, it's the chairman Kabir Muchandani, the CEO Loki Batra, and of course the GM of real estate of 5, Mr. Michael Hansen. Honestly, like, those 3 people have been, despite me not working for them anymore, my biggest mentors. They're the one that gave me the chance to actually enter into this new world of real estate, and in such a short period of time, I would say not even a year, I actually grew and learned so much from a developer's perspective, obviously learning about off-plan projects to investment options, from prices starting at, let's say, at 1.8 million, going all the way to like high-end, residential apartments to God knows like 35 million. So, you're learning also at the same time about the market, certain locations, developments, etc. And of course, when it comes to like clients, different nationalities, and getting to understand exactly, where, in terms of money-wise, where, let's say Europe, for example, where money comes from, who are the people, the clients that have the wealth to, or the means to like purchase or like invest in certain products. So it was actually quite interesting. And coming into Provident, being very grateful, obviously Provident, for me, being one of the most prestige brokerage firms in the country, I can definitely say that, the CEO, Loai, who's been in this business for many, many years, very grateful for him to, trust me and give me the opportunity to, come into the team, into the company. I mean, you've been there also quite some time now, so you can know, exactly how the company works, giving me the opportunity to not only be part of the brand, but also at the same time target a new audience.
Yeah, the Israeli market.
Exactly.
It's a huge market, and it's been something that's been relatively untapped until you came. Hebrew speakers don't come about every day.
That's definitely for sure. I mean, you do have, some Israeli speakers in the country. Some of them have opened their brokerage firm, but obviously, when we're speaking about, a company that has a brand, a name, a legacy, and have done so well over the last few years, it's given me a platform in a way where, I'm being represented by a brand, and at the same time, I'm looking after, a brand new market, like you said, the Israeli market. And at the same time, I want to educate, the Israeli market. I think it's beneficial for both of us at the same time. Like, as I just became a broker, but I know that while I already have the basic knowledge, I know that I still have, a lot to learn. But at the same time, I know that I have a lot of knowledge to share in the meeting.
Absolutely. So, Ollie, one thing that's really interesting to me is that talking about 5 as a developer, what they have introduced into the Dubai market is something very unique and special. That it's not every day that you see a developer construct a hotel or a building that has, let's face it, almost sort of like that party lifestyle built into it as well, which is a huge attraction for the tourists. So tell us a little bit more about that.
No, absolutely. Listen, if we're looking at 5, as an example of, one of the young developers in the city, but has grown in such a rapid pace. I mean, we're speaking of, 5 years, where, 5 actually started before it used to be Viceroy, etc. It had its journey, but when it became 5, its first hotel that launched in 2017 at Palm Jumeirah, being one of the most iconic hotels in Dubai, regardless, with the occupancy rate so high, for the reason, like you said, because of the events, the F&B, the nightlife, it has so much to offer. Then its second hotel, JVC, 5 Jumeirah Village, one of the most iconic hotels, throughout COVID. It was so successful.
The first place I ever stayed when I moved to Dubai.
Yeah? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely.
You take those rooms with the pools, I'm guessing?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, funny
I
enough,
can see the appeal to it. I can see the appeal.
listen, they were so smart in terms of, building a hotel within the community of JVC. Because now, if we're looking at it, now 5 years later, look how the community has developed.
Mm-hmm.
And that hotel remains the only hotel, the iconic area in JVC. Now, going back to the opening of that hotel, if you Google JVC today, it is on booking.com, the most reviewed hotel in the world. Throughout COVID, it was occupied almost at 100% because, you couldn't leave the house.
Interesting.
Regulations.
I did not know that. Interesting.
It's actually a fun fact. Regulations were so tight that people were actually renting out the rooms where people could just, party and obviously not be disturbed. You're in the privacy of your own room. So that was actually quite genius of them, regardless of
Definitely
COVID.
different to my COVID experience.
Really? You could tell me all about that.
Yeah, just being stuck at home. Stuck at home, social distances. In the UK, it was probably one of the strictest. So, yeah, definitely not the party lifestyle. Would have been nice though.
Tell me about it. I was stuck in Belgium. Obviously, it's funny because I got recruited by 5 when I was stuck in Belgium at home.
Yeah?
Yeah, didn't think of moving to Dubai. Never crossed my mind. Grew up most of my life in Israel from the age of 18. And then, got an opportunity and I just, grabbed it with 2 hands.
Mm.
Moving on, in terms of 5 with the projects, now we're looking at the new project, that's going to be now completed by, soon in the next couple of months this year. 5 JBR, 5 Lux. I think in terms of the area, it was the last piece of land available to actually construct something 5-star quality. Honestly, it's absolutely stunning in terms of finishing, what they have to offer. When you have the hotel rooms, you have 2 residential towers, Tower 1, which is like 59 floors. And then, you have Sensoria, which is a second residential tower closest to the seafront, which is a total of 37, 38 floors. But just like in terms of quality, that's, I think, the only thing that is possibly available in JBR right now. Like really, really excited to see the hotel open and see, that whole community really develop. It's going to be definitely.
And the funny thing is that's where we met as well.
True, yeah. Obviously when I was working for the developer and I was, speaking about all of the projects, pitching the projects, I came, to Provident, that one day pitching about it was the 14th floor. I remember quite well with
where the ballroom was. So we walked around the ballroom while it was still the ballroom.
Yeah.
Before its, conception into what it is now, which is essentially like penthouse apartments.
Yeah.
In the 5 Palm, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Complex Suites, which is a great concept, for anybody who wants to as I said, you have 2 sides of it. You have, the residential option, or you can put it in the hotel pool where you could make, a fantastic return of anything between 7 to 9% each year.
Yeah, fantastic. On that point, I want to talk a little bit more about that because 5 offer a guaranteed ROI, net ROI on those units, different amounts depending on the different projects as well. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Listen, another thing when it comes to that, so currently 2 projects that they have where they guarantee a return. So 5 JVC
and 5 Lux.
At 5 Lux, 5 JVC offers 8% net each year for 10 years where they pay you monthly, no service charge.
Let's face it, in anyone's mind, whether you're looking, look on an international scale, where do you get an 8% net ROI tax-free?
Tax-free. So still, you're making money. You're making money while you're sleeping, while you're eating. Excuse my French, even when you're doesn't matter. But yeah, that's it.
Bleep that one out.
I'll bleep that one. I can't bleep it. But basically, those are the facts.
Yeah.
You're buying a hotel room. You don't need to worry of who's staying in there. It's basically handled. It's handled for you.
Yeah.
No service charge, no maintenance fee. Starting prices for a 1-bed starts at 1.8 million. I mean, you're making 80% back in 10 years. Can sell it then for a premium. God, you're making money back plus extra.
And then afterwards, after the 10-year period, it then goes into the hotel pool, right?
Yeah, the rental pool, exactly. It's a 60-40 split. So the entire hotel collects the room revenue that it generates each month and then equally distributes it amongst all of the investors. But they base it on the size of the unit. So if you have a bigger unit, the more money you're generating.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, since it's not guaranteed, the occupancy of JVC is anything between 90 to 92% each month. Sorry, each year. I apologize. So you're definitely going to be making anything between 7 to 9%. Anyone who's new to the market, obviously we're speaking of a kind of a low budget that is looking for something with a great guaranteed return, JVC for me is a no-brainer. Very easy. And of course, selling it afterwards shouldn't be that big of a problem. Now, if we're speaking about JBR, beachfront property, most of the people now today who come to Dubai, who are looking to invest, everyone loves a good beachfront property. Same thing in 5JBR, 7% net guaranteed each year for 10 years, 70% profit, and then you're done.
I completely agree with you. So, I mean, as someone who's been working as a broker, a little bit longer, and my case studies that I have done, everything points towards beachfront locations. And if you look at the market trend throughout the years for beachfront locations, let's take the Palm, for example. The initial sale of the garden homes was around 2.5 million dirhams?
Something like that.
Yeah. Now they're selling around the 30 million mark. Yeah. 25 to 30 upwards. So, just in that short amount of time, there you've got the likes of Emaar Beachfront. You've obviously got the new Envision plan, the 2040 plan by Sheikh Mohammed, with plans to extend the coastline by, I think it's 30 kilometers, something additional beaches.
I mean, we never know. It always changes by the day.
But yeah, it changes by the day. But that is the surefire way and the rising market trend. Because if you look at Dubai geographically, there's only a finite amount of beach space.
Yeah.
So inevitably, once that's all built, it's done. Obviously, they can build the man-made islands and the sorts of crazy things that Dubai does, but that can only go on so long until they have to start building backwards into the desert. So prime location is always going to be on the beachfront.
No, you're very right. But obviously, if we're looking now, especially me, who's come on as a broker, who had to obviously now study the market more, on a country scale, because working for a developer, it's only concentrating on 3 products. As a broker, I'm now concentrating on 200 products. Like my first week, joining Provident, I went by myself. I took the initiative because I think it's very important to actually understand the market in terms of, let's say, the developers. I went to Emaar, I went to Damac, I went to Shoba, I went to Ellington. I went to the majority of the big players in the city. And as you said, where you have a lot of developers now developing on the beachfront, you have some of those that are also developing already inland. So you're giving, the nice options to all sets of clients, because I would have to say right now, if I'm speaking of developers that I actually really, really like, I would have to say Shoba and Ellington. No disrespect to the other ones, but in terms of finishing, if I would have to specify one in terms of my liking, price-wise, Emaar, great, Shoba, fantastic. But when I speak of finishing, Ellington for me, it's just something that I can relate to, because I'm very into that high-end finishing, parquet floor, marble kitchen, everything, just, really, really nice finishing. So it's really nice to understand that you have a specific kind of developer that can actually be unique for a different kind of nationality. That's one side. And of course, what everyone is mostly interested in is making a quick flip. Now, as I've joined, being in charge of the Israeli markets, I'm being, swamped by a lot of Israeli clients right now. And the most questions that I do get is, how can I make an easy flip? What is, in your eyes, a good investment? What is, your eyes, a good opportunity? If it's, speaking of Benghazi, right? JVC can get a studio now for 550,000 dirhams. Easily. Where you can get, like you said, Emaar Beachfront, you can buy now the Emaar Beach Bay 2, what is it? What was it called? Forgot it again.
Beach Palace.
You can buy now, what is it? They don't have studios, but let's say one bed, they're going for 3.6. Bargain for a price.
Yeah. The mid-range products are about 3.5. They've had massive capital appreciation there. And we've been working with a lot of clients who have, one of the strategies now is they just go in.
Yeah.
They have a lot of money behind them. They'll buy multiple units or floors. And, with that, they'll get potentially a discounted rate from the developer from buying that much stock. And then they'll just resell it off with 30% premium.
So in terms of your knowledge, because you've been in the market longer than I have.
Yeah.
If we're speaking of a certain area where you would suggest for, let's say, not just Israelis, anyone who's interested to learn about the Dubai market and is looking to invest, where would your knowledge push them to go have a look?
So it's quite an open-ended question, that, but I'll try and answer it to the best of my ability. So it really depends on a few factors. Obviously, the first thing being price point. We've got to determine how much you can afford, and then that will also be a determining factor of where we can put you. If it's somewhere in the range of 1 to 2 million AED, then I'll probably suggest somewhere like a JVC, Arjan, other upcoming areas. JVC, I've done a few studies on lately. One concern of mine that I have is that I do believe that very soon there's going to be an oversupply of units there because there's so many developers that are coming to the market. 40% of the JVC area is going to be developed within the next 1 year. So, right now it's known for being cheap and cheerful, right? And that's why people go there. Cheap, cheerful, nice quality.
Yeah.
But what I see is a lot of developers, because I do work on the plot side, I see a lot of developers that are going to be building there the next year. I think there's going to be so many units and oversupply. And frankly, obviously, when there's an oversupply and under demand, the price is going to have to go down when they're trying to compete against each other and they're not able to sell. So I would then look at alternatives such as Arjan, potentially, areas like going out a little bit further towards Dubai South. Now, I think Dubai South is a fantastic area. So one of the most popular developments right now would probably be the Mac Lagoons, right? Yeah, for that townhouse sort of style of thing.
I think they just launched Morocco, I think, about a few days ago. Yeah, their new development.
Exactly. So, Damac, I can't fault them. It's a fantastic project. Absolutely huge project in terms of, what they've developed there, different communities with different city names, and it's the, different style of each community, which I do like. But then if I compare that product to the like of what Dubai South are putting out, and by the way, Dubai South is the area as well as being the developer's name. They're putting out 5-bedroom townhouses that are nearly double the size in the bedrooms. And to be honest, I see that like the quality, the finish is a little bit better, and it's almost modelled very similar like the Mac Lagoons. It's got a lagoon running through the community. So if I was looking for a villa for myself or for longevity where I'm going to get good capital appreciation, I do see a strong future in the Dubai South area, especially considering that Al Maktoum Airport is soon due to, obviously once all the air runways are done, it will be the number 1 airport in Dubai. DXB is at 100% capacity, so it can't grow anymore. This is going to be the biggest airport in the world, which will therefore take number 1 place. DXB will be more so the backup. And, once the airport's there, the infrastructure's there, then that's when all the development's going to start happening around there.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, it's always going to be like, too late. I think now it's going to be the gold rush where you get in it now. And then in the future, you'll be grateful you bought that.
100%. I'm actually quite happy that you mentioned, going into Dubai, Mars South, Arjan, because a lot of the people think, my perspective personally is everyone loves, anything towards beachfront, Palm, downtown, Business Bay, those luxury areas where they actually think, okay, these are areas that are always going to, give me a guarantee on my investment. Well, guarantee is not really the word, but let's say, a great capital appreciation. But when you're looking now inland, the prices that are going for townhouses, villas, it's incredible. It's insane. That's why, for me, what I would love to, try and educate, the Israeli market especially, is not having to always think about beachfront property, but to go inland, which I think that could also be, a great win-win is the word for them, anyone who's looking to invest. Another project I think we should also be very excited about is, Jebel Ali the Palm.
Well, and that kind of ties in. So one of the reasons why I have a strong belief in that area myself, and, other than actually I've decided to go and live there, which
Yeah. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to having the dinners
and the barbecues in the garden.
You said it. You said
absolutely, mate. You're always welcome. You're always welcome. I'll make sure it's kosher too.
I don't think kosher vibe. Thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm thoughtful like that.
Appreciate it.
So, what I see happening over there, the grand plan of Sheikh Mohammed, it excites me because not only have you got a brand new airport coming in that's going to be the biggest in the world, you've got the Expo City over there, which is also being expanded now, and they're doing a lot of developments around that area. But it's on the access route to Palm Jebel Ali, which is going to be a palm that's double the size as the one that we've got now.
We've got 3 entrances coming in, and
3 entrances, which is what the one that we have now should have.
100%.
And that's why the Crescent isn't as appealing.
Yeah,
because it takes so long to get around. The traffic is just a little bit of a nightmare. So I think that they fixed the issues that they had with the first palm, which was, a great test for them. And I always say of course it's a success, but I think they've learned from the small failures in it, and they're gonna be improving it within the with the next palm. Yeah, having the Palm, Expo, and airport all on that direct route, I think that's going to be the next place where, we're already seeing it. All the developers are rushing there. Emaar South, we're seeing Dubai South, Damaca doing projects over there. So, I think that's where the future is going to be.
Yeah, looking definitely forward to the launch. 89 hotels, God knows how many residential buildings. That is going to be a steal and a half for sure for anyone who's going
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, hopefully that'll be also one of my few investments coming in. Jebel Ali, the Palm. Been looking already for quite some time.
Get yourself down there, mate.
100%, have to. But listen, besides that, Providence, just very happy that I could get on the way and, develop my trade.
Talk about the learning aspect. How's your training been going so far? How, have you found that transition from the developer's mindset now to working as a broker? How different is it?
So it's very different at the end of the day because, as a broker, you have to have the knowledge of all projects going on in the city. At the same time, what I've been very lucky with the companies that I'm not only focusing on off-plan, I'm also be doing secondary. So I do have also that part that I'm also learning, which I find super interesting, which is also more convenient to, clients that are asking for something that's either ready than, off-plan projects. Again, like you said, it's also learning about the request of the client, budget, area, guaranteed, non-guaranteed, flip, capital appreciation. There's so much behind it, but listen, it's been amazing so far. I've already had God knows how many meetings and viewings, which is actually quite mind-blowing. It only being, just a few weeks in after, leaving the 5 Global Holdings group. And just, very excited to see where it will take me. Obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say, so I know everything does take time.
No, absolutely not. Listen, let's be frank. I'm still learning. We're all still learning. You can never know enough
100%.
about real estate, and things are changing in the market every day. So you constantly got to have your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, listen, I don't come from the real estate background as much as, let's say, my family does. My father, my grandfather used to be a big architect back in Belgium in Antwerp. My father got into the family business. So me learning this trade, when I'm speaking to them, well, my grandfather, unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but my father, when I'm speaking to him about this, it's like I can see the pride in him because I'm teaching him things, for example, that he didn't even know about.
Following through with the family business.
Exactly, which, let's say, I don't know if I'll be doing for the rest of my life, but for now, I'm actually loving it. I'm actually learning something where I wake up in the morning and I say, wow, I can't wait to see what I'm going to learn today, especially when it comes to new projects. God, we have, every 2-3 days, a new announcement of a new project. There's so much happening. It's actually just so exciting and so refreshing.
Yeah.
It's insane. If we're looking now in Europe, you and me, we grew up in Europe. We know, about the European market right now. It's terrible. You can see how everyone is now, rushing here. Now, if I can give an example, now, if I'm looking at the Israeli market, obviously, I'm not going to get into politics because that's not why I'm here. But everything that's happening now, you have more people selling their products now. I think it's around 70 to 75% than actually people buying. People are looking for the next place to buy and invest. That's only here in Dubai. It's the only place that's going to guarantee you money. At the end of the day, that's why everybody's...
Well, that's why we're seeing so much foreign investment. I took a trip back to the UK a few weeks ago, as you know, and just the general attitude of everyone seems very down, and negative, and everyone's complaining about the taxes and the cost of living. And I get it. It's a difficult situation back there. Obviously, I've got family that are still there, but it reminds me every time when I go back how much better it is to live here.
100%.
It's a failing.
It just makes you hungry to succeed.
Absolutely, it's a failing state. It's a failing state. It's a shame, but obviously, by the looks of things, I headed into a deep depression, which is bad and good news, because also it brings a lot of the foreign investors to want to look elsewhere.
100%.
So, I have a lot of people from the UK who are constantly asking me questions and how does it work to buy property in Dubai?
You don't even need to be in the country. You can just do
it's so easy.
Transaction for the SPAs. You can just give power to. It just makes it so simple and convenient for anyone who just wants to invest. Doesn't have to be here on the ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, you do have those people that have no knowledge and of course want to have, the security and, come by, no problem. Great. We'll be more than happy to have you, support you, show you around, make sure that the investment that you decide is right for you. Those that have the knowledge, by all means, be more than happy to help you guys out. Having to do a Zoom call, send you, the brochures, the prices, everything, at the end of the day, it's just very convenient for anyone who wants to invest and doesn't have to come to Dubai.
No, of course. And I think one thing that's just mind-blowing is the difference between actually the process of buying a property in the UK and then buying here, and explaining that process and how it works.
Hard for people to understand.
They always think it's too good to be true.
Exactly.
From my experience, and I worked for a broker as a little bit in London when I was a bit younger, but it was just, it's so difficult that, you got lawyers involved, you got so many hurdles to jump through, and half the time it could take you like 6 months. I've seen some contracts take up to a year.
Where here it just takes really up a week to prepare.
I know.
Obviously, people that are well educated want to see through the contracts. Absolutely, by all means, I wouldn't even convince you not to do otherwise. Go through the contracts. You have any questions, we'll come back to you. Everything there black and white. Within a week, you could already, be purchasing a property.
Yeah, it just happens.
It's insane.
It happens. And there's not really anywhere else in the world that I can think of where, there's some of the things that I've seen in Dubai, in this market are ludicrous. It's one of the only places where you can walk up to, an office and transfer a property with a duffel bag of cash. And, it sounds crazy. People think that, does that stuff really happen?
I've seen,
and it does happen.
Crazy things. I won't get into
not a lot, but still, it's not a lot. But these things do happen sometimes. You have clients that come from different walks of life. Some people work pure cash over here. Obviously, it's a tax-free society.
Exactly.
So if they want to pay with the cash, then
want to pay in crypto, USDT, be my guest. We take it and everything.
It's legal tender.
It's legal tender. Exactly. We like that, don't we?
Legal tender, right? Legal tender, right?
Another thing we should also be mentioning, what I think is going to attract a lot of visitors to Dubai. The first casino opening up in Rak.
Yeah.
That entire area, I think, is also going to be massively being developed within the next few years. Whoever thought, gambling in Dubai would, be legal? Fantastic. It's definitely going to attract much more clients within the city. That's also, I think, a very upcoming area to my person.
No, I agree. And, I've actually had boots on the ground. I've gone and seen the location where the casino is being built. Yeah. I've seen the cranes there being constructed. So, I've been among it. And I've been working on a lot of the plots as well. So, I completely am on board with the project. I have been ever since it was conceptualized, but it's been quite a while, and you know what it's like in Dubai. Sometimes you hear word of something's happening.
Exactly.
It might not materialize. So you always take something with a pinch of salt, especially when it's something that's as big as, essentially laws needing to be changed to implement a casino to be able to be there.
100%. Obviously, we see Dubai developing now in the last few years. I mean, me from the last 3 years almost being here, seeing how the rules have regulated, how it's become, obviously it's still strict, which I love.
More westernized by the year.
Exactly. Now we're speaking of, first casino, definitely going to attract new clientele to the city, and of course, the old. So that's also something definitely to look forward to. Anybody who's looking into, becoming a broker, I think this is definitely the only place in the world.
Absolutely. And, a funny little story I have as well about the rack location where the casino is going to be. So not long ago, I was taking a client who's a developer. I'm not going to mention any names. I was taking them down around the plots.
Kidding, I'm just taking the mickey.
You know, client confidentiality and all that. I was taking a client around the plots, walking along the beach, showing them the different locations that we have. Now, the price per square foot at the time, and we're only talking maybe 3 months ago, price per square foot at the time was around between 120 and 140, depending on the plot.
Okay,
that's the price per square foot. He thought that was expensive.
And now we're speaking 3 months later.
Okay.
Can I take a guess of how much those plots are now per square foot? I would say 3.5
More.
higher.
400, it's in the 400 range.
Right.
So depending on the location, if it's beach or just waterfront access, we're in the 400s, 400 to 500.
And we're speaking about 3 months later.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
And I told him this at the time. I warned him of this. I said, this is so underpriced in the market right now.
You need to jump.
You're not realizing what is going to happen. There's going to be a huge boom here. And I'll tell you what created the massive spike. One Russian guy came in and bought, I think it was about 2 million square feet of land. So he bought the monopoly of land, and now, you know, the limited stuff that is left,
It's limited.
the price is shot
Through
up.
the roof, 100%. That's crazy. 3 months.
Yep.
Wow.
And this is why now I like working, you know, more on the plots of land style. I like working with developers, investors, because I like that money talk.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in talking money with an investor and, you know, having those business conversations than, you know, walking a, you know, family around a villa and talking about the different types of materials used and the styles and stuff, which obviously I'm always happy to do, and I will continue to do so.
It's all part of the trade, right?
Of course, you know, you need to be able to be a chameleon and do both. But my main interest is now going into this in, you know, development side, but as a broker. You know, I'm working with a few developers right now. We're talking about different projects here and there. We're locating plots, coming up with concepts. You know,
exactly what
generating the renders for those different areas where we have input and give them advice on what sort of project will be fit into that area, what we could charge. We break down the, you know, the return on equity, return on investment on an annual basis, and you know, they're the sort of projects that excite me, because, you know, we're changing the face of Dubai. I can walk past that one day, or take my kids past that building.
You know, out of this.
Yeah, I was part of that. I helped it happen.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice you saying that, because obviously going back to 5, obviously where my journey started, I know exactly what you mean when it comes to, you know, development of the project, the renders. You know, you're seeing everything from the inside out, right? You know, develop. I remember going, God knows what it was, from beginning of the year until now. If I was going now at the area of 5JBR being built, I mean, God, in such a short period of time, how it's developed, and now they're literally now about to open. It's just insane. Just literally seeing something that you worked on, something that I still, you know, appreciate, because obviously 5 is always going to remain to me.
Oh, I'm very excited for.
You know, I'm so excited. I'm
very excited.
I'm really excited for that. And yeah, just seeing that place develop into this beautiful project, definitely going to be a stunning JBR.
100%. I think it's going to be a place to be. Not to mention as well, I know there's going to be a Leo there.
Yeah.
And I used to live in Ibiza, and Leo was my favourite place. So
so
Leo is like a big show club.
100%.
Like kinky, funky dances on the stage. It's all a big show. They get people up dancing.
It's actually quite unique. So that's going to actually be built just out to sea. So they're going to have a dock being built. It's actually going to be exclusive with the 5. So it's going to be, you know, during the season. Obviously going to be busy, and then I think during the summer you'll have them go back to Ibiza. So it's going to be, you know, seasonal. But what an addition to have, I mean, to Dubai. I mean, Leo, anybody who knows Ibiza, or I say Ibiza, obviously with the accent.
Yeah.
You think it'd be?
Well, I'm English. We just go Ibiza.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's with an air.
But, you know, that's definitely going to attract, not just for the hotel, but for that entire area. There's going to probably be boat taxis. You know, that's definitely going to be something that's definitely going to, you know, bring out the attraction, just the tourism there, to be fair. Yeah, definitely exciting. You've been in Dubai for how many years now?
About 2 years.
2 years. Now, would you say, you know, in terms of what you've learned as a broker, anyone coming in, because obviously what I would like to do eventually is one day, you know, start building a team. And obviously people who don't have the knowledge or the trust coming to Dubai, starting, you know, brand new, fresh. Obviously, you've done it, so as I. what would your advice be for people wanting to come and learn about the Dubai market?
Okay, so my advice would be, make sure you come out with enough money. Okay, money is the first step, because let's face it, it's not cheap out here. The cost of living can be expensive at times, but it depends how you live.
Yeah,
there are ways to live cheaply. I've like go to JVC or Arjan, locations like that where you can get a short-term rental. But I would say to come out as a new broker in this day and age, you need probably £10,000 or around like $13,000-14,000 if you're looking to start up as a broker. Make sure you do your due diligence checks on the brokerage that you're looking to join, because frankly, there are a lot of agencies who start up, but they're what I call them here today, gone tomorrow. Because when the market's good, they're good. But when the market starts to dip and they're not doing well, they run out of money, they fold, and then someone else comes and takes their place. So I think that's something that you really need to look out for, and make sure you do your background checks on the company, the history, how long they've been around for. Like for example, Provident, we've been around for 14 years now. Yeah. Through the market crash, everything, and we're still thriving. So picking your company is definitely important. And then really just making sure that you're going to be focused when you come here. There's a lot of distraction, and I'll be honest, I'm like most people. I came out here and I've got very good sales ability, and I pick things up very quick. I'm a fast learner, so I was doing very well and exceeding in my job at my first company. However, my focus was a little bit diverted, where I was, I still wanted to go to the restaurants at night. I still wanted to go to these parties.
Don't have that. The city has to offer. That's normal when you're living in a new city, but obviously you've been here longer than I have. Yet again, that's how we basically met, right?
Yeah, but it's knowing when to switch that off. So, I learned the hard way. It didn't work out for me at that first company, and then I had my second opportunity coming to Provident, going straight into sales. And then there's really no looking back, because, everything just kind of took off from there. Yeah. So be focused, make sure you've got enough money, do your due diligence.
I think that's pretty fair. And obviously you're working mostly on secondary. You do off-plan, but, secondary, I think that's more like your niche, like you say. Yeah. When I have, investors, coming in, what would you suggest in terms of secondary area being like a go-to place to invest?
Okay, so again, the first question is always, budget. What is your budget? Because it dictates on the area. And I speak to a lot of investors, or now I'm kind of used to it. I'm hardened to the mindset that people have in Dubai, because it's very different to in the UK. Yeah, in the UK, I feel like people are much more direct, and the system is, you have a property to sell, you most likely have one agent who you trust, you stick with that guy. Whereas over here, it's every man for himself. Correct. There's agents that put things out, they're like a whore in the market. They'll put things out to 3, 4, 5, 6 different agents.
Yeah, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. But the problem is, what these owners don't realize is that they're putting their property on with multiple different agents. They're creating a false representation of the inventory in the market. Yeah. So, you're looking on Property Finder or Bayou, and there's 3 times the amounts of units that should be. They're actually hindering themselves from selling their properties. So I think there should be more of a system where it's only just been implemented recently, actually, because it was limited to 3 agents can now list on a platform. Before that, it was a clusterfuck. Anyone could post.
And with your experience, obviously, when you're speaking about, secondary resale, so let's say you have a client that has trusted you with, his property, reselling wise, how fast, with your experience and your capabilities, because obviously, I think you're a great guy, you know how to sell, you got a great smile. This is not me hitting on you, I'm just giving you compliments. So
just stop it.
Period wise, how fast do you see people actually, buying something secondary after listing? An example.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Now, this isn't an everyday occurrence,
of course,
because obviously there's variables to this. It depends on what time of the year it is. We're in the summer right now, so obviously it quietens down a little bit. A lot of people leave. But to give you an example, my quickest sale would be, I sold a unit. It was actually my first sale. My first sale was a unit in the Burj Khalifa,
All right.
which was my main focus building at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then the buyer who bought the building, who bought the unit in the Burj Khalifa, he had a off-plan resale in Damac Lagoons, 2 units actually, which he only just told me about at the time of the sale. So as we were in the MOU period, he said, all right, by the way, you've done really good. Here's another 2 units. And now this is, one thing that's important. So if you give a good service to a client, then they're likely to go back to you time and time again.
Of course. And not just that, get referrals. That's how basically you're building a portfolio.
Yes,
100%.
exactly. So after selling the apartment in the Burj Khalifa, he then gave me his 2 units in Damac Lagoons. Within 24 hours, I'd sold one of them. So that's how quick it can happen. I didn't even have time to get the listing live.
24 hours.
I didn't have time to get the listing live.
Guy must have been very happy.
He was very pleased. He was very pleased. So, he got a good return. I think his return on investment, the premium was around 30% on it, on an off-plan resale. It was with another broker in my company. So, sometimes it's good to have your network in your company, people who you can trust, and just do that quick sell.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the time, some agents, they think, I've got a listing. I want to keep it all to myself. I don't want to share. I don't trust people, because there are people that have been
trying to actually just, destroy the deal. God, I had one last week where the broker was literally sabotaging the deal. I won't even get into details, but you definitely know when the broker is not trying to help. At the end of the day, we just want to make the client happy.
Yeah, of course. It happens a lot. But, that, and I wouldn't say that's like the precedent, because that's not how easy it's going to be. It's not as easy as that, everyone, I promise you. No,
like a little sneak peek in the camera there. Don't you, I'm telling you right now.
Not as easy as that. It's a roller coaster. Probably real estate out here is a roller coaster. I've had times where, especially in the beginning, I found it, I was kind of focusing on too many things. I had a property in Damac Lagoons come up. I had a client looking for a full building. Then I had, this, that, all in different areas. So I was spreading myself too thin. So, I wasn't getting a sale, no matter how many calls I was making or how much time I was putting into a client. It just wasn't quite materializing until I just tweaked a few little things. I decided to have one main key focus. And, be a little bit open and have a little bit of knowledge in other areas.
Yeah.
And that was then the turning point in my career. I was very close to going home and packing up, saying I've had enough. But luckily,
I think we've been there at some point in our lives.
Absolutely. And to be honest, I owe a lot of it to my partner as well. She I take my hat off to her. She's a huge credit to me.
Your bread and butter.
Yeah, she's my bread and butter. If I didn't have her, honestly, I would have gone home. She said, no, look, come stay with me. She saw the potential in me. And that's, the sort of woman you want by your side that is going to be your support when you're at your lowest. And, if they're with you at your lowest, they're going to be with you when you're at your highest point as well.
Yeah. I need to find me one of those.
So, unfortunately, they don't come out often.
For now, I'm just focusing on my work. Obviously, I want to be successful. I want to grow. One last thing I actually wanted to speak about, which is one very, very important key factor.
Tell me.
Now, obviously, people are speaking about, a recession happening at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know, or, what the world market tells us today, that it is going to happen at some point. But will it affect the Dubai market? Obviously, for people that also want to invest whenever that happens, that they shouldn't be scared, because Dubai isn't the same compared to the world, right?
So you've got to really do a deep analysis on this, and there's a lot of contributing factors to it. Now, from what I see and my independent studies and other brokers who are like-minded that I speak to in the market, not just brokers, you have to look at everyone. You have to look at the senior powers. What is the royal family saying? What is the fintech company saying? There's a lot of factors that go into it, but Dubai is the second at least risk on the UBS bubble index in the world. If you compare the price per square foot to other countries around the world, London, Singapore, Hong Kong, is still underpriced. Cheap. It's still underpriced. There's apartments that are in central London that are just astronomical prices right now, and people can't afford to live there.
Yeah.
And I've lived there myself. And I can tell you, it's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
So, I think that there's still so much room for growth in Dubai. If you look at it on a geographical map, how much is actually developed on and how much is built on, you're probably around 10%.
Yeah.
If that. There's so much more space to go back, and I think over time, of course, that's going to be happening with especially in line with the 2040 vision from Sheikh Mohammed.
True. Also, a very important key aspect. Yeah,
This is all going to be implemented. There's so much to come.
Himself.
There's going to be a railway that links across the whole of the UAE, linking all of the Emirates. So they don't spare any expense over here. What sets Dubai apart from every other country in the world, or the UAE apart from every other country in the world, is that they want to make it easy for businesses. They want to make it easy, no matter what your nationality is. They'll make it easy for you to come here,
absolutely,
set up a business and get going. They make it easy to get finance from the banks. In the UK, the banks are a nightmare. They are a nightmare. They make it easy. It's the ease of everything. Come into business, open your business one day, you're tax-free. Obviously, of course, you've got a corporation tax, which is, a small percentage in comparison to the rest of the world. But as an individual, like, yourself and me, we pay nothing. We pay nothing.
We know what exactly comes into our pockets every single week.
Exactly.
Whatever, whenever we close, hopefully we'll close as many as we can. Inshallah onwards, inshallah.
And no need for an accountant.
Yeah, no need
for an accountant.
What's coming in and what's coming out. I like that. I was never good in math, to be fair, until I got into this trade.
Yeah, well, now you kind of have to.
I have to be.
You have to be a numbers person.
You have to be a numbers person. But it's fun when you're doing something that you actually love.
Well, it's fun when it's going in your pocket as well.
That's something else. Obviously, that's actually a phrase or actually something common with Jews. We love money at the end of it. But what we love more is making money. And this is the only place where you make money.
Well, that's a trait that's, I think that's important for everyone to be good at. Everyone should be good at money.
I can say that I'm Jewish, so that's not like a racist thing to say.
Yeah,
completely clear.
You can say
I'm covered.
Well, l'chaim,
Mazel tov. Cheers. And thanks, bro, for taking your time, for
no problem,
many podcasts.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think, I wanted you to come and join with us. You know that I was vying for you to come and join us because I saw, I remember when we sat at 5 Lux with the Russian clients.
Yeah.
I sat back and I just let you speak, and I saw your, level of knowledge about the product you were selling. I saw your passion. I saw your sales ability shining through. And, then when we knew, started getting more on a pally level, I knew that it would be the best progression for you to come and get into this side, because I could see how those skills were going to transition forward. So I'm excited to see how you're going to do going forward. I'm confident for you.
Appreciate it. And obviously, with your guidance, definitely looking forward how I can, develop the skill.
100%.
So thanks for taking your time out today for, this first podcast, first of many.
You're welcome, man. Anytime.
Cheers, brother.
So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This is the first podcast, the first of many to come. Now, if you have any questions about anything we discussed today or any projects that are happening in Dubai right now, then please, there's going to be a link in the YouTube channel. Just drop a message in there. You'll be able to schedule meetings with me, book a call, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much. And hit the sub button as well. Sub and like. And hit the sub and like button.